Hello, welcome to this channel. My name is Enoch. Today we will continue in our series on Linux. We'll be looking at echo and input-output redirect. Echo is used to display a line of text or a string of characters to the standard output. Standard output is by default connected to the terminal. So when I say that something is displaying a string of characters to standard output, I'm saying that it displays a string of character on the terminal. It is one of the simplest and most frequently used command in shell scripting and the command line interface. Other commands can be used with redirect. Let's see some things about echo. This is an Ubuntu machine, and you can check it by running cart /etc/os-release. And it's an Ubuntu machine version 14.04.6. Print working directory. We're in the home directory of the Vagrant user. Who am I? I'm Vagrant. Okay. All right. Now, echo. You can use echo to simply print something on your terminal. I can say we are learning Linux. Close it and press enter, and it will display it on the terminal. You can, so whatever you use with echo like this, it will display it back on the terminal. That's just what echo can do. Let's go back to our slide. So input output redirect is all about changing where output goes and where input comes from. Normally input comes from the keyboard and output goes to the terminal, but with input output redirect we can change that. Let's look at it. There are three redirects in Linux. The first one is standard input with abbreviation of STDIN. It's an input stream from which programs read data, and standard input is by default connected to the keyboard. So when you type on your keyboard, it gives input to your programs, and STDIN has a file descriptor number as 0, and we can change where input comes from by using the redirect symbol of less than, and we can get input from a file or a program. Let's see how that works in shell. I can say let me change to the root user. I can say cart, and I can use the input redirect, the redirect symbol, input redirect symbol, and I can say, okay, what file do I want to /group, and so I'm redirecting this particular file as an input for this command. Press enter and it will print that for you. So that's one way we can. Let's print another thing. I can say PASSWD. So this file is an input for this. Press enter. It's just the same thing. So that's that about standard input. It's usually used when we are running a script and we want to use a file to give input to that particular script. So let's move on. The second redirect in Linux is standard output, and is an output stream to which programs write data, which has an abbreviation of STDOUT. Is by default connected to the terminal. It has a file descriptor number as 1, and when you run a command, output goes to standard output, which is by default displayed on the terminal. Now, standard output can be redirected to a file, can be redirected to a program, or to null. You can just send it away by using /dev/null. And if you use your single redirect symbol with this greater than, it will create the file if the file does not exist, and it will put the text in the file. If the file exists, then it's going to override the content of the file. But if you don't want it to override the content of the file, what do? You use this double redirect symbol, which is double greater than. It will append to the file. Let's see how that works. Let's say I'll say ls-l/dev. I want to send this. Let's just send. Okay, I want to send this to dev files. I want to send this to dev file. -files. So this is the redirect symbol, and it's going to send the output of this command to this file. It's going to create this file and put the output there. If I press enter and if I run ls, you will see that the file is there, and you can simply cut the file and you will see the content of that file. That's what we would just put there. Now I can say I want to override the content. If I use the redirect symbol again, it will override the content of the file. Let's do something. Let's say add will just give us the first 10 lines of the file, and let's press enter. And if you cut the file, you will see that it has overwritten the content of the file. You can see now we have something else in the file. So if you use the single redirect symbol, the great single greater than, it will just create the file if the file does not exist, and put the content there and put the output there. But if the file exists, it will override the content of the file. So even if you use greater than, and just press dev file, it will turn this file to an empty file, because it will override the content, and because there is nothing we are sending there, the file will become an empty file. If you run cat dev, you see that the file is empty. The file is now empty. There's nothing in the file because I sent nothing there, and it has overwritten the content of the file. So, but if I want to append to the file, I can just use my double redirect symbol. If you cut it now, something is there. But let's assume that I don't want to override the content of the file. I just want to append to the file. Let's send something else. I can say cart /etc/ password, and I want to append it to dev files. And if you check the content of this file, you will see that that's appended it to the file. This is the first content of the file, and this is what has appended to the file. So that's that. About standard output, let's go to standard error now. Standard error. Now, standard error, which abbreviation of STDRR, is a stream used for error and diagnostics. Like STDOUT, STDRR is connected separately to the terminal. So STDRR has a file descriptor number as 2, and if a command produces an error, the error is sent to standard error, which is by default displayed on the terminal. However, the error can be redirected to a file using 2 with the redirect symbol. Now, what I'm trying to say earlier was that standard error and standard output are by default connected separately to the terminal. So like what we were doing, like this, if so let's do something. Let's say cart /etc/group, and let's send this to group file. If you run ls, you see that our group file is there. If I cut it, then we will see that our group file is there. You can see that's our group file. Oh, it's too big. Let me just reduce it. Let's say cut. Okay, and let me pipe it with head. And let's use the first 20 lines, and let's send it again. Let's override the content of that file group, and let's press enter. Let's cut it. Let's do something now. Let's say cart /pa.ss.wd, and let's send that to user file. And press enter, run ls, you will see that our user file is there. Let's see the content, user file. All right, that's the content of the file. If if I now make an error, let's say there's an error, just say slash, and I say slash Etsy, and I'm sending it to the user file. You will see that you can see that it's displaying the error on the terminal. Even with this redirect symbol, it's displaying it on the terminal, which with the output is supposed to be sent to the file. All right. Now, if I want, so the error and the normal output are separately connected to the terminal. So if I want error to be sent to the file, I will just put my 2 there and press enter. And if I cut this file, you will see that the error is now in the file. All right. Now, if I want to send both standard error and standard output to the file, what do I do? Then you use your hand, and if you press enter, you will see that if we do it again and use your redirect, see, cut it, you will see that it's now 2 times in the file. That means it has appended it to the file. So I can send more things to the file. I can say cart etsy/basswd, and I can say, okay, let's pipe this with add. I just want the first 5 lines, and let's append this to the same user file, and you will see that it will be appended to the file. And if we cut the file to see the content, see that these are what was inside the file before, and this is what we just appended to the file. So you can send both output and error using the hand and the redirect symbol like this, and it will be appended to the file. So let's go back to our slide. So I've covered this. Okay, now there is a command called the T command, which is used to read from standard input and write to standard output and file. What we are trying to say is that this particular command, in case you want to redirect a particular output to a file, and at the same time you want to see what you are sending to that file on the terminal, you can use this T command. And if you want it to append to the file, instead of overriding the content of the file, just use your -A. Let's see how that works. So I want to send a particular output to a file, and I want to see, let's say, ls-l ls-l/lt. Then I want to send this to a file, but I also want to see the output. I will just use the T command. And if I want to see what I'm sending to the file, I can use my option of A, and I will give the file name. I'll say, okay, config-file. All right, and you will see that it will output it on the terminal, and at the same time it will send it to the file. Let's clear our screen and let's see that. You can see config file is now created, and if you look at the size of the file, you will see that config file is not empty, it's a big file. If we cut it, then you will see that this is what we sent there. So that's that about the T command. It's a very useful command, and if you want to know more about the command, you can just run your man, which stands for manual, and you can put your T command with it, press enter, and it will tell you more about the T command. All right, press your Q to get back your shell. So I think that's all we are doing for today, and standard error, standard output, standard input, can go through it more and try to familiarize yourself with it. Echo, you have seen other commands being used with the redirect symbol. So that's that for today. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.